Afternoon, Mr. Lange. Thank you for allowing us to ask questions about your experience in Vietnam.
It's quite all right. I think I'll enjoy talking to you all.
What's your job in the army?
I was an administration clerk, and the job varied from working for one particular unit to a headquarters clerk where you had a wider range of duties. And as I progressed, I became an instructor and I trained other clerks. And then I got promoted and I ended up in Canberra in the Army headquarters.
Where were you based in Vietnam?
I was with headquarters Australia Force Vietnam, based in Saigon. Our headquarters was based in the building called the Free World Military Assistance Organisation.
Go.
What was Saigon like to live in?
At first it was good. For the first 2 months it was wonderful. For the next 10 months it wasn't that good
Didn't
at
work.
all.
Go.
Were you scared?
Yes. And I would suggest that anyone who says he wasn't scared is lying about it. The first couple of months, not at all, because nothing ever happened in Saigon. But from the end of January in 1968, I think everybody was scared. It doesn't mean that you're scared and you're going to run away. See, bravery's not about not being scared. Bravery is more about being scared but still doing your job. And that's the way it all was. You can be scared, but you've still got to do your job. And your training then gets you through it. It doesn't stop you being scared.
Go.
How did you unwind in wartime?
Well, it might seem strange, but we all did different sorts of things. I noticed that we had a helipad at the back of our headquarters, and there was an American two-star general who owned the helicopter. So the pilot introduced me to the general's aide, who was a captain, and he introduced me to the general. And he said, "What do you want, Ozzy?" I said, "I just want to know if I can come for a ride on my day off." Right? And he said, "Yeah, no worries, you know, what's your day off?" I said, "Normally Sunday." He said, "All right, be down here at 7. So on my day off, I used to go riding around in this helicopter. And I saw quite a lot of the southern part of Vietnam. And it was interesting. I got some wonderful photos. We landed at different little bases. And we're up, you know, a couple of thousand feet. And the general was probably directing 2 or 3 different firefights on the ground. And that was exciting enough as it is, but it also took away all the tension of being in a crowded place to live where you were never particularly safe. And you look back on it, it probably wasn't particularly safe in that helicopter, but you weren't exposed to literally millions of people, any one of whom could have been working with the Viet Cong. So really it was safer up there for the day than it was walking around in Chalon or Saigon.
How do you feel about being involved in the Vietnam War?
I feel proud of the fact that I've served. I'm proud of what I did there, and at the same time disappointed with the people who were back home who treated us badly when we came home. We were sent there by our government to do a job, and we did it. I think we did right, and I think we did as well as our politicians allowed us to do.
You write poems. Why do you do that?
It's a release for the tension inside me. And the first one I wrote was called A Big Adventure, because for me it was a big adventure going to war. Australians, I think, have always been like that. They went to the Boer War for the adventure. They enlisted in the First World War for the adventure. Second World War the same. Vietnam the same. you go, I suppose, for the adventure, but the reality is nothing like what you thought it was. So the poems became a way, something had come to mind, and it would release what I had inside me about that particular situation. Some of the things I've seen and done, it gives you a chance to release the tension and the black spot in your mind at times, to be able to write about.
Thank you, Mr Lange, for your time and sharing your experiences with us.
Well, thank you for having me, and I've enjoyed talking to you, and I hope you've enjoyed learning just that little bit. So thank you.